So it looks like the big homie Tucker Carlson and big homie Lemon, big homie Don Lemon, man, they're both out of a job right now. It looks like they both got fired, if we're being honest. But what I thought was interesting about both of them being fired is the way in which both of them were let go, right? One was let go, meaning Tucker Carlson from Fox News, like with grace. They issued out a statement like thanking him for all that he's done for the channel, or I should say, done for the network. That's my YouTube brain. All he's done for the channel, all that he's done for the network, and the good work that he's done. This is all despite the fact that he literally has cost them close to $1 billion because of his rhetoric. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But despite that, they still let him go with grace. Where you have Don Lemon, I'm trying not to laugh right now, on Fox News, they literally just called him and told him he was fired like an hour before his shift started. They
That's
were like,
crazy. They
right
fired they fired him an hour before the shift started? Did he get a letter or anything, like, on company letterhead
no,
like Tucker Carlson got, or what?
he didn't get no nothing. He didn't get nothing.
That's crazy.
Like an hour before his shift started.
He came into the studio and it was like, "There's somebody sitting in my chair." It's like, "Oh, yeah, we gotta tell you something. You're fired."
Yeah, you're fired. That man tried to get into his dressing room and he was like, whose stuff is this? Oh yeah, that's right. We forgot to tell you. You're fired, And they let him go so bogus. And bro was crying too. That's what's the crazy thing. Like, like I said, Tucker got let go with grace. CNN, they dropped Don Lemon like, like a bad habit. And then Don Lemon wrote this salty tweet. And I'm gonna read it right now. It says, I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given an indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work that I have loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many team members and the many teams I have worked with for an incredible run. They are the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best. Now, notice this pattern of Black Democratic first, loyalists getting dropped so bogus from networks. We saw a couple years back, Mark Lamont Hill got dropped and thrown in the trash by CNN after he made some comments concerning Palestine and Israel, right? MSNBC did Tiffany Cross the same way they did Don Lemon. Tiffany Cross woke up one morning and found out she was fired. She's had her alarm set and everything, was ready to come in. They said, "Nah, fam, we good. You don't got to show up." And then they did Don Lemon the same way. Don Lemon woke up in the morning thinking he was about to go to work. His agent said, "Nah, just go back to sleep, bro. You all right? You straight?" You know.
You got all day because we need to be working on finding you a new job. That's crazy.
Exactly. But what you think about that, man? Like, as far as like that pattern, you get what I'm saying? Like, when the Democrats and the left and all that, whatever, however you want to call it, to me, it's all the same. I know some
I think
people, they'll say like, "Oh, Democrat, left, liberal," it all means something different. It's all the same to me. But like, you see these people that are supposed to be, quote, on our side, when they're done with black people, they toss you in the trash like the day of, with no moment, with no 2 days notice or 2 weeks notice, nothing. You just out.
Yeah. I think it's the same pattern that we always see. I don't know whether people like ignore it or what, but like, I don't know, man. It's just an example of black people settling with white people and every other race on the planet, sentencing you a miserable human eternity, and black people not wanting to do anything about it and just continuing to work within the framework of that. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have to work at these companies that these white people make, you're going to be subject to white people judgment. You know what I'm saying? Tucker Carlson is going to get a nice little letter that he can take to other companies that shows his contribution. And Don Lemon is going to find out right after he gets his morning coffee that he's fired. I mean, until people decide to deal with that, really no one should be surprised about any of this. You know, we talk about this repeatedly. We do article after article after article, but what I find the actual problem is the actual problem is us. You know what I'm saying? Like, until we take control of the environment, until we take control of some of these things, the news reports, it's just going to be the same report with a different name on it each time. And people know that. So why, like, the strategies and things hasn't changed? And I don't even know, like, man, as far as the way that people are brainwashed. I mean, you have like black people out here that got more sympathy for Tucker Carlson being fired and all the nasty things that he said about black people than Don Lemon. Because let's just keep it a buck, man. Like, people actually want to see the downfall of black people. And honestly, I think that it's black people that want to see the downfall of black people the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be joking about this with you when we're not live, but out of everybody in the audience, like, there's probably about like 30% of the people that only watch this channel to wait for a fallout between me and you and then follow the beef saga that happens afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Instead of actually listening to the content that we make and using it to apply to their lives. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel bad for Don Lemon. I made a bunch of videos trying to warn Don Lemon. I'm actually happy to see Tucker Carlson get fired, but I'd rather not see Don Lemon get fired. I wish he had to change things up. But people don't listen. People don't pay attention. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you think that you're seeing more black folks championing or feeling bad for Tucker Carlson more so than they do for Don Lemon? Because for me personally, I don't feel bad for Don Lemon. You know what I mean? I don't feel bad for him at all.
I
But
don't.
you know my stance when you tap dance for the Democrats that hard.
Right.
I got but then you don't hold that that same energy and or strength, you can say, to hold them folks accountable, right, on behalf of your people. Then I can't really feel bad for you too much. But then I'll see on the other hand, or like you're pointing out on the other hand, folks are over here feeling bad for or not feeling, or yeah, they are here feeling bad for Tucker Carlson. Like, so why do you think
Yeah.
that is, that they're feeling more for Tucker Carlson than for Don Lemon?
Just lost. Just lost. Just lost.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it is what it is. Also, they realize that they're not doing anything. They're not contributing to any kind of empowerment. Helpless. People realize that they're beaten, and a lot of times it's that whole thing: if you can't beat them, join them. And honestly, like, to me, that's why you see a lot of like black people. Black people, it's just really weird, man. Like, you look at it on social media, there's always some kind of excuse for some kind of racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, they're telling the truth, or this, that, and the other. And then you even see a lot of the fist pumper nonsense and people sounding exactly like what racists say. And I think it's honestly just because of a lack of direction. I don't know if it's a lack of desire to find direction or just a lack of direction, period. But I think it's because of a lack of direction. I mean, like, listen to all of the stuff that Tucker Carlson has said, and you actually hear people more sympathetic towards Tucker Carlson than they are towards Don Lemon. And the thing is I agree with you. Like, there's not really any redemption for somebody that's tap dancing for the Democratic Party, but it's something that I've always had an issue with. I've always had an issue with black people and the sympathy for racists that they have. It's just it's not something that I can get down with. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I always look weird. Now, you're talking about giving the side eye. You know what I'm saying? You know how we talk about, quote unquote, giving the side eye. You know what I'm saying?
Black folks' favorite term. I'm looking at you
favorite.
sideways now. I'm looking at you side eye.
Yeah, I'm always looking sideways when, you know what I'm saying, like, somebody has made a career out of lambasting black people, and somebody's, oh, this is the ton of truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving you the side eye, bro. You know what I'm
And the thing
saying?
is, like, that's such a weird argument, though, like, on behalf of those who because I don't feel bad for Tucker Carlson either. You know,
Right.
I could care less that he's gone, equally to the same degree that I could care less that Don Lemon's gone. But it's such a weird argument for those that wanna bang on the side of Tucker Carlson, black folks that want to. When you make that statement that, "Well, yeah, but he tells the truth, though. He'll say things that's true." So you'll negate the anti-black racism that comes from him because he tells some truth. Well, I mean, with that logic, Don Lemon told a lot of quote some truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was a lot of some truth that Don Lemon told. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how you can use that to justify having sympathy for Tucker Carlson and not for Don Lemon, if that's you who falls into that category, that's a bit weird. It doesn't really make logical sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not into somebody telling some truth. I'm into you telling all the truth all the time, or at least 95%. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Right.
always tell all the truth. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
got to hold a little like 5%, maybe 10% back, but give me 95%. We talking about people that tell some truth a little bit sometime, in the midst of a whole lot of
Right.
BS and nonsense and tap dancing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just a dumb argument. I don't get that at all.
Bro, it's crazy. It's just, and I know you've seen this, like what I'm talking about.
No, I've
You,
seen it because
yeah.
I've seen a lot of brothers, and this is something that like irritates you so bad. I'm gonna say, how many brothers that are like put the tap dancing shoes on for what's his name? Oh boy, Peterson. What's his name?
Oh, Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they love him. They love him. The manosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like they love him. You know what I'm saying? They love him. But now you
Brothers.
don't know. Now you don't know who's loves him anymore because it's like it's a revolving door. You know, like 1 minute now everybody's part of it. The next minute nobody's part of it. The next minute everybody was part of it. Now the next minute everybody was preaching against it. You know, it just
You
it's
talking about
one
the
of
Black
those.
Manosphere?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like I'm representing. Then it's like I never was a part. I'm representing. I never was a part. That's why like I respect like a lot of the people who actually believe in some of the things that the manosphere says, because through the good times and through the bad times, those individuals who actually believe in it, they've never changed. But there's some people who are in and out and in and out, and it's when things are looking bad they're out, when things are looking good they're in, and like it's hard to respect people like that. It's a couple solid brothers, man, that like really hold it down for the manosphere. And what's sad is those are the ones that like are not the face of it. People don't know who they are, but the ones that people see every single day on the home screen of YouTube that are not good examples of what it was meant to be, they're the ones that get all the recognition and notoriety. It's sad.
And like you said, going back to being in and out, in and out, in and out, like to use that metaphor, that's also why when I look at the Tucker, not the Tucker Carlsons, but when I look at the Don Lemons and the Tiffany Crosses of the world and the Mark Lamont Hills, you see that same parallel as well of being in and out, in and out, in and out, but with black folks, right?
Mhm.
So if a black kid gets shot and killed or just gets beat up really bad or whatever concerning police brutality, oh, they're all in, they're blackety black. But then on the next note, when news surrounding that type of information is dry and there's nothing to talk about, now they're making you the face of anti-Asian hate, or they're
Mhm.
talking about
Or
like how when
homophobia.
yeah, or homophobia. Remember when Don Lemon was sitting up there with Charles
Charles
Barkley
Barkley. Yep.
talking about how black folks and black men are so homophobic. We're so homophobic. And you saw recently also as well Mark Lamont Hill on his black news channel or whatever that's called now, the Grio whatever, he's been sentenced off to the abyss, like to nothingness of YouTube,
Right.
whatever YouTube channel that he's on now that has like 144,000 subscribers but can't break 1,000 views.
Getting Skip
um
Bayless views.
yeah, he's doing them Skip Bayless views. you know he was talking about Freaknik and how like it was an R fest, RAPE fest,
Yeah.
of black men being misogynistic, sexually abusive and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, bro, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, what are you with black folks, or are you not? You can't be in and out and wanting to make us the face of evil in one instant, but then when your paymasters tell you, hey, it's time for you to be blackety black now because some kid just got killed by the cops, now you stomp in the yard. I'm not into that, bro. I'm not trying to hear none of that.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
And
but
like that's what you see is because of the pay and because of the direction that the paymasters tell them to move the message in, not because of what's actually in their heart.
exactly. Exactly. And then, like you said, on the weird odd note, you have that going on, but then in the same breath, you see brothers out here caping for Tucker Carlson. Like,
Cape.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And the thing is like, nobody will admit it in here because, that's probably not the direction that they would have expected this conversation to go in. But they're doing it.
Mhm,
You can look in any comment section. Now, the thing that's interesting is that they didn't write it in the Fox News comment section. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying?
mhm.
But all of these videos that that we might make, there's gonna be some people saying stuff like that. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why on my channels I didn't make a video about that. Like I'm honestly at the point where like I'm just disgusted. Like I just don't even want to make any I don't even want to make any content anymore, man. Like just like it's just like God, when is anything gonna change? When is people's mentalities gonna improve? When are people gonna actually see things for what they are and address the actual problems? Like here's my thing, right? Tiffany Cross got fired, like you said. Now Don Lemon got fired. You would think that like outside of the entities that they worked for, they would try to come together and create some kind of network. Right? Because, like, could you imagine that? Tiffany Cross and Don Lemon, like, it would be the worst, most feminist news ever, but somebody would listen to it. You know what I'm saying? It would be the most pro-black, pro-LGBTQ. Like, it would literally be like Black Lives Matter News Network. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
exactly what it would be. BLM News Network, pro black slash LGBTQ slash feminism network,
Yeah.
Don Lemon, Tiffany Cross, and Mark Lamont Hill. We are
Yeah.
BLM Network.
We are a BLM network with Tiffany Cross with like sitting in a throne that's like shaped like scissors. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, the thing is like, it's not something that I would listen to on a daily basis. I might listen to it to react to it because who wouldn't want to react to that nonsense? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
content gold right there.
That's content gold. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, it would be their own thing. It would be theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you wouldn't be subject to having to deal with getting a letter one day. Nobody's gonna leave a letter for you unless you forget to pay your StreamYards fee. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And like I don't know. I just don't understand why that thought never crosses people's heads.
And that's the thing too. You see also a consistent pattern of when particularly these Fox News guys, right? When they get dropped, because Tucker Carlson is like the third like major guy from Fox News that at least as far as all the years that I've been paying attention, the third major guy from Fox News that I've seen get dropped, who will land on his feet the same way Bill O'Reilly landed on his feet, right? I forgot what network he's with now. I don't know if I don't remember if he's solo or if he's signed with somebody. I believe he's signed with some other independent conservative network, but he landed on his feet just fine. He's still out here doing his thing,
Who's
right?
that? Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly.
Hmm.
And before that, it was Glenn Beck who got let go first. He went on and found some billionaire backers who would fund his network called The Blaze. That's doing amazing now, right? And Tucker Carlson's going to go on and do the same thing. He'll probably he has. You see these guys; they'll have options afterwards. He could sign with the Daily Wire because the CEO of the Daily Wire already expressed interest in signing him, right? You'll probably see Rumble, like how they did with Joe Rogan, say, "Hey, we got $100 million for you over here, Tucker Carlson." You get what I'm saying? And if that's not the case, maybe Newsmax, right? And if that's not the case, you'll pretty soon there'll be an announcement. The Tucker Carlson Network,
Yeah.
backed by some multimillionaire or billionaire donors who are behind the scenes that we don't know who they are, but they're throwing money behind his venture on creating his own network. You never see the opposite with these, tap dancing,
Because who wants to
black
listen to him
political
talk?
pundits.
Listen, think about this, bro. Think about this. People don't even want to listen to me or you talk. They're
Mhm.
waiting for us to fight. They don't want to hear
Mhm.
us talk, though. They don't want to hear any information that we have because society has rotted their brains and told them that everybody's smarter than us.
Mhm, mhm.
So, like, nope, they don't want to hear us talk. They don't want to hear anything. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why you get that. But everybody wants to hear them talk.
Everybody wants to
Everybody
hear
wants
Tucker
to hear what
Carlson.
Tucker Carlson has to say. Everybody wants to hear what Bill O'Reilly has to say. And the interesting thing about it is, like, everybody wants to hear the abusive comments that they have to make about them so that they can turn around and say and do nothing about
And that's the wild thing.
it. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And you know what I'm saying? Like, people could I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, like, we're pre-recording this video and people aren't gonna like these parts of what I'm saying, but like, it is what it is. Is it about liking it, or is it about being honest with yourself? Because, like, look at the patterns.
The patterns are very clear that we've
Very
laid
clear.
out today. We've laid out very clear patterns.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like like Tucker Carlson and Glenn Beck and all of those other guys that you listed, they have options. And like, the thing is too is, like, Tucker Carlson, right? Like, say for instance he doesn't sign with a conservative network. All he's got to do is just get a computer, hook up StreamYards, and people will listen to him talk about the news every day.
He'll kill it.
He'll kill it.
If he just decided to start a YouTube channel, he'd kill it.
He wouldn't have to have no thumbnail, like, but he would, because only certain people care about, like, no thumbnails and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? His shit would be polished. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
But,
mhm,
like, let's just say for instance he didn't have any thumbnail or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? People would listen to it just because it's Tucker Carlson. It could be a visualizer just like this. They would recognize his voice.
mhm, mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And he would do well for himself. Probably better than if he had a big company backing, because there wouldn't be any middleman. It would just be him and Google. But
Mhm.
we have the factors of, and see, like, his base, like, you know what I'm saying, like, racist and conservative white people, they want to listen to him all day. And then, everybody else wants to listen to him all day. We could have the
Mhm.
best information in the world. Nobody wants to listen to us. Nobody wants to pay us. Anytime we open up our mouths, it's a grift. This right here is a grift. Our opinion is a grift. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, well, it is a grift, but
It's a grift. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is a grift.
Mhm. Everything in a grift is a grift, and I
Is
think that's the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen.
everything.
Everything.
Shout out to my man Hotep Jesus. I learned that from Hotep Jesus. He taught
I
me.
I learned that from Hotel Jesus too. Everything is a grift.
Shout out to Hotep Jesus. He gave me that knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
He gave us that hidden science, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? He
Right.
told
You
you
know
know
what
what I'm saying?
I'm saying?
Jesus, he let us know what the mathematics was, you know? It's all a grift.